Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. When it comes to holidays, I tend to kind of ignore Halloween and gloss right over Thanksgiving. I'm finding as I get a bit older that decorating for what I consider to be the minor holidays is just a waste of energy when all I really care about is Christmas. I'm planning my menus, my gatherings, and my holiday decor, which this year is going to include a very special advent calendar that hopefully will not only become a tradition to look forward to it coming out, but also a treasured heirloom that when they look at, they'll remember Nana. I found exactly what I was looking for online at Pottery Barn, but not for $149. No way. Nope. So today we are gonna make the exact same one, $12.50. And we're gonna do it using supplies from the Dollar Tree. You ready? This one's gonna be fun. I decided on 3 different sizes for my advent calendar. I kind of did a small, a medium, and a large, and then I created patterns on my grid paper. This is the easiest way for me to make sure that it is all straight and square. I also brought out my paper trimmer and used that to slice the edges nice and straight. So much easier on my hands than scissors. Once I had each pattern cut out, it was now time to cut out the pieces themselves. I'm going to be using poster board that I have left over from other projects. I made myself a cut list for each house size, so that way I would be sure to mark off all the pieces as I cut them. When you're cutting 75 pieces to assemble something, it's very important that you put together a cut list so you don't miss anything, because there's nothing worse than getting on a roll and going full speed ahead with your project, only to find that you're missing a side or a roof or a door. Whatever the case may be, I always make a cut list. And starting with one sized house at a time, I am going to lay out all the pieces that I need for each house and then cut them all out. While I'm laying this all out, let me give you a little backstory as to why I chose this advent calendar. These houses were a very big part of my childhood. My puppas had them out every single Christmas. She would have little Poots villages underneath the big tree. Poots houses were laid on the branches on the tabletop tree with the lights fed through the hole in the back. They would illuminate. It was so beautiful. And then also all around the formal living room, she also had little vignette settings of little Poots scenes. And I absolutely loved these houses. Wasn't allowed to touch them, but I was always in awe of them. And if you're not sure what a Poots house is, this goes back to the 1920s in Germany, when someone decided to model these little houses kind of after German candy boxes, but they caught on like wildflower through Europe, and then they came over to the Americas, and they became quite popular over here. Nowadays, true Poots houses are really, really collectible. Cody Foster and Bethany Lowe Designs have taken the Poots houses to like the next level. They breathe new life into the traditional houses with vibrant designs and innovative themes, and of course, glitter. Lots and lots of glitter in every color possible. But for me, I prefer the simpler version, just like the ones I grew up with. Traditionally white, very minimal on the decorations, brings me all those nostalgic vibes and feels, and that's what I'm going for. Now, I did look online because I know that this is going to be a lot for some of you, and they do sell candy boxes that you could actually buy, and if you cut the fronts of them open, they could actually become part of your advent calendar. They'd all be the same size, but it would make it a little bit easier on yourself, and as you can see, they're very, very affordable. So if what I'm doing is too much work, there's a shortcut for you. Now that everything's cut out, I need to actually take the front pieces and cut the openings for the doors and the windows. my pieces have been cut out, and I know this because I referred back to my cut list to make sure everything was checked off, and now it's time to assemble the front and the sides. To do this, I am actually going to use white masking tape, and I am going to tape the sides onto the front from the inside of the house where you won't see it. The tape's actually going to act like a hinge, which is going to allow the sides to be closed, which is going to be an important step when it comes to putting the floor on and assembling the houses. So for right now, I am going to lay all of my fronts and my sides together and tape them all together on the inside. Now that all my houses are assembled, it's time to make them shine. I'm just going to be using some Elmer's glue and some superfine white glitter. I'm going to paint over the entire outside of the houses, not the side with the tape, but the outside of the houses. Paint all that over with Elmer's glue, and then I'm going to douse it all in that superfine glitter. Make sure that everything is covered completely. Tap off the excess, and I am going to lay them down to dry on a piece of foam core board. Now, the wetness of the glue is going to kind of make your poster board curl a little bit. So what I'm going to do is set them like pressed flowers in between layers of poster board with a little weight on top overnight, and they will be perfectly flat in the morning. Now, to hold the glitter in place and keep it from getting everywhere, I am actually going to spray the fronts of all of the houses with hairspray. That's right, you heard me correctly. Good old hairspray is going to hold all the glitter in place, not make a mess, and I can spray it right here in my office. Once the houses were done, I needed to make the floors for each house. The easiest way to do this is to take the flattened house. Because I used tape on that, it's like a hinge, fold very easy. This is the large. What you want to do is set your paper. And get the shape. And it gives you the size of the floors you need for each one. So I'm going to cut these out and use foam core for the bottoms. I have my 25 floors cut out in my 3 different sizes, and now I'm going to use hot glue to get them attached to the houses. I like using the Gorilla Glue. It has a really good bond, and I start by attaching it to the front. Once the front is set in place with all the pieces level, it's time to attach the sides. Add glue to the sides one at a time, and then fold the sides of the house over onto it. Hold it in place firmly. Do that to both sides, and you have your little houses. Now we just need to do this 24 more times. Once the boxes are all done, before you go any further, it's time to play with the layout so you can get the feel of how big it's going to be, where you want to put them. I like that I chose the 3 different shapes and they are in 3 different dimensions, so it does pop off the piece with texture. And I do plan on adding a little bit of embellishments. We still have to put the doors and the roofs, but right now I just wanted to get a plan of the layout, and actually really kind of like this. So my suggestion is once you find the layout you like, take a picture using a camera or your iPhone so when you move them, you'll know exactly how to put them back. My inspiration piece from Pottery Barn was only 18 inches wide, 24 inches high, and 3 inches deep. Mine is just a little bit bigger, coming in at 20 inches wide, 30 inches high, and between 3 and like 4 inches deep. But you can totally customize it to whatever size you want. Now that I've decided on my layout, it's time to add the doors. And here's where I'm just going to change mine up a little bit. I found this 4-pack of decorative cardstock at Dollar Tree. Comes with glitter cardstock in a dark silver, a light silver, a gold, and a black. And I thought that that would be perfect colors for tones and embellishments to add onto the fronts of these for the doors. Same with the roofs. To attach each door to each house, I am simply going to trace it on the desired colored glitter paper. On the backside, of course, cut it out, and then I'm going to attach it the exact same way I attached the sides to the front. I'm going to use white duct tape on the inside, and this is going to act as the hinge for the door. That's why I'm tracing each and every door. I want it to be a perfect fit so that they will sit there perfectly, open and close as needed. I decided that I wanted to make my advent calendar a little bit more substantial and sturdy. So I popped out into my shop, actually found myself a piece of plywood I had lying around, and I had a bunch of extra trim from other projects. I'm going to cut the plywood to the size of the foam core boards, so they'll be 20 by 30, and then I'm going to cut the trim accordingly to go around on 3 sides. But on the bottom, I'm going to use this leftover piece of 1 by 4 that I have, cut it to 20 inches wide, and I'm going to attach this on the bottom kind of as a base, if you will, like the houses will sit on that. I could even add a little bit of snow around it. We'll see when I get there, but I'm going to use what I have. This is again staying completely budget friendly because I'm not buying anything, just poking around in my shop and finding things I can use. As you can see, I'm spraying that 1 by 4 for the bottom in a flat black spray paint that I have. I also took some leftover white spray paint and I went around the edges of the plywood, and then I painted the trim that I had left over in a nice bright Christmas red. So I think that's just gonna add the pops of color that I need without being too much. Because I kinda wanna keep it to the original minimalist design of a Poots house, but I am still a maximalist at heart, and I keep reeling myself back in, but certain things I just can't help myself with. This is one of them. Once the plywood was dry, it was time to attach the foam core board to it. This is the exact same size as the foam core board, so using my E6000, I am going to squirt a decent amount all around the edges of it, down the center, and then I'm going to attach the foam core board. I'm going to center it perfectly on the board, flip it over, and put weights on it because I want it to sit and set up. While that's setting up, I am going to get to work on my roofs and decorating my houses so we can wrap this project up because I'm dying to see the end result. It's just coming out so good. I'm getting so excited. So to do the roofs, I have all of my little houses laid out on the boards they're going to be so they're flat. Kind of made them a little bit different so they're more three-dimensional. It's not so flat when you look at it. It kind of pops off the surface at you, which I like a whole lot better. So for the small, the medium, and the large, using a tape measure, I'm going to measure how wide it is. Then I'll figure out how big the roofs need to be. I'll make one pattern for each size, and then I'll cut as many roofs needed. Now, when it comes to the embellishments, I am mostly going to be using that silver tinsel. You would see a lot of that on the original Poots houses. By the way, did you guys have Poots houses as part of your Christmas decor? Do you know what I'm talking about? Are they part of your childhood or even still part of your Christmas? Let me know in the comments down below because I would love to know who else is familiar with these little houses. So when it comes to decorating, I'm going to keep it minimal and I'm going to use the silver pipe cleaner. But I also have some of these natural beads I found in my craft room, and I think they're small enough that they'll add another element to this without bringing in like another pop of color. Because I really don't want a whole lot of pops of colors on the houses. I do plan on using trees and a few other cute things. You'll see that in the end. But for the decorations on the houses themselves, I'm going to stick kind of traditional, but add a little bit of beadwork to that. You can get as creative or as fun as you want. You could do whatever kind of bright colors. You could do bright colors, neutral tones. It's all up to your taste in your decor, but I'm serious. This is a fun weekend project that I really think is worth sitting down and doing. Just wait until you see how this whole thing came together. I swear Mine is 100 times better than Pottery Barn. I wanted to assemble the frame I made to hold all this together, and it was super easy. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. I was spot on with my cuts, so everything looks really good. As you can see, I did end up painting the edges of the plywood that I painted white. I changed that to red because I wanted it to blend in with the color of the trim that I'm putting around it. The only thing, and this is literally the only qualm about the whole thing, is I wish my plywood was a little bit thinner, but that's besides the point. It was free. I had it and it looks fabulous. I cannot wait for you guys to see this all put together. I cannot wait for Pottery Barn to see how this one comes together because it is amazing. This is going to be the viral trending Pottery Barn Advent Calendar hack of 2024, or maybe of all time for Christmas. And it's a great project to do with your kids, your grandkids. Make that treasured heirloom to stay in your family. What's a weekend of your time for a lifetime of memories? Huh? Ask yourself that, right? Totally worth it. Now, I know there's a good many out there saying, "No way, girl, that is way too much work." And it was a little bit of work, but it wasn't a ton. I didn't work on it 15 hours a day for an entire weekend. I worked on it for a few hours each day over the course of the weekend, and I got it done. I really enjoyed making something that I knew Ryder and Rosie were going to be in awe of, and they totally were in awe when they saw it. They couldn't believe that I made it. Rosie thought it was just the most lovely thing she had ever seen, and that's a quote from her. My God, I love that girl. The things she says sometimes and the way she says them is absolutely priceless, and that's what the holiday is all about, like, moments like those and family time like that. Those moments, that is what this project is all about, getting that feeling, that vibe, that love that comes from special moments, moments that you remember, just like that one. I want this to be something that they look forward to coming out, that I look forward to coming out each and every year. What would I do differently if I could do something differently? Really, the only qualm I have is truly the plywood. The piece I had, I think it's a half inch, and I really would have rather have had a quarter inch or even an eighth inch of like a Luan type, something to make it a little bit lightweight because mine is heavy. It's not something that I can just hang anywhere I want. It needs to be firmly put into place in a stud somewhere, so I'm limited, but thankfully, I have a spot in mind where I'm gonna put it, and I think it's gonna work just fine there. It'll be visible the whole season long. I think it came out beautiful. I love everything about it. You have to let me know what you think. Pottery Barn wanted 149. I literally made this for 12.50. I'm dying to know what you guys think. How do you think it came out? Do you think I got close? Do you think it came out as good? Is it better? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think of this Pottery Barn dupe? I hope everybody gives this a try with their families, with their children, with their grandchildren, with their spouse, whoever is in your sacred little circle that would enjoy this and enjoy making it with you. I really hope you guys give it a try because come on, 12.50 versus $149. It's insane. And honestly, sorry Pottery Barn, but I think mine looks better. What do you guys think? Be sure to come back next week so you can see this styled in my house because we are going to be kicking off my Christmas holiday home for 2024. I will let you know the theme and I will show you my entire downstairs completely decorated for Christmas. Thank you for hanging with me. I hope you enjoyed this Pottery Barn dupe and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.